Hi there, it's Jen, and thanks for joining me. Today's video is going to be 9 cards using the May 2018 Spellbinders card kit. The kit I subscribe to is called Kitschy, so it's the card kit plus the small die of the month. Usually I include the small die of the month card in the card kit video, but the small die of the month this month is 4 word dies, and so I thought I would go ahead and make a separate video with separate cards, so be on the lookout for that. So in May's card kit there are these beautiful pattern papers. All their papers are 8.5 by 11, so they're just really pretty floral paper, and then this pretty embroidery hoop with gold trim, and then a green floral, and then a dark blue background with some floral, and then some really cool kind of like wood grain with gold stripes. And then the solids are dark green, dark blue, an ivory, a white, a really pretty, it's more of a coral, I think it looks red in the video, but it's more of a coral, very pretty paper. And then of course the gold. So this is a small die of the month. There are 4 dies. Celebrate, hello, thank you, and I cannot remember the last one. I will have to get that. And then the rest of the contents of this card kit, which again is the Kitschy, is a felt doily, and then several blue flowers along with a bigger white flower, and then some gold sequins. And then next are these 3 tags, so kind of a lime green, a light blue, and then a dark red. And then there are these stickers, gold writing, kind of a wood grain background. And then of course there is the contents. You get your 10 cards, 10 envelopes, and your 5 ribbon. So there are 2 sheer ribbons, the green and the pink are both sheer, and the rest are solids. And then you get your double-sided adhesive and your foam squares. And then 2 wood embellishments, one says happy and one says love. And then the gems, a bigger blue gems and then smaller. And then a dimensional sticker. And then you get these 3 journaling cards, Home Sweet Home, and then a yellow with a kind of a doily, and then Kindness is Contagious. And this is all the ephemera that comes in the card kit. I only made 9. I think that was just my limit for this kit. But I have a lot of paper left over and a lot of embellishments that I didn't end up using. So I could probably make 9 more cards. I have that much paper left. I didn't end up using a lot. The patterns in this are kind of bold, and I tend to gravitate towards more muted colors, I guess. So these are the dies that came in the card kit. So you've got some leaves, a butterfly, and then a flower, and then one die has a dove and then a bird, and then you get the embroidery hoop. So for the first card, I went ahead and cut out a bunch of the little leaf pieces and butterflies. So I cut the leaf pieces out of the gold paper and then the flowers. I wanted to use the gold pieces and the flowers in this card, but I didn't end up doing it. So my idea for this card was to put something, I went ahead and used a circle die in the corner. I didn't end up liking that, so I do change it. What happened with this card is I put ribbon across the top, and I ended up cutting it a little too short on the card. And so I go ahead and I just took the pattern paper and put that directly on my card. Then I took a piece of the solid blue paper and popped that up. So here I take the ribbon and I just use my double-sided adhesive to adhere that to the card. However, when I trimmed the ribbon on the left-hand side, I nicked it a little too far in, and I didn't like that. It probably wasn't that noticeable, but it was noticeable to me. And so what I ended up doing was covering it with butterflies, and that was not the original idea behind the card. And so I ended up just changing the whole idea behind the card. So as you can see, I'm taking the journaling card and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the floral, and then I pop that up. And this is kind of jumpy. I pop that up and I'm going to place that on the corner where I have that cut out. And there was a little bit of white space showing still with the floral piece on the card, so I went ahead and adhered a piece of the cutout that I had originally cut out back onto the card to kind of hide that a little bit. And I wanted this to be like real simple. I was gonna use like one butterfly maybe in that corner, and that was it. So I just went ahead and I straightened the edges out with my cutter because the journaling card has a rounded edge, and I didn't want my card to have rounded edges, so I went ahead and just squared that up and put some foam tape on the back and adhered that to the corner of the card. And then I take the butterflies and go ahead and put them across the top where the ribbon is to hide that little mistake that I made. And then I'm taking the kindness portion of that same journaling card that I used to put the flowers, and I'm adhering that to the card. And then I take one of the wood green stickers also and adhere that. And then my glue kind of, I think it's getting to the end of the glue, and it kind of exploded, so it was all over the place. But I'm using the Tonic Deluxe adhesive, and I went ahead and adhered all those butterflies, and I ended up using some stickles towards the end, and that completes that card. So for this next card, I'm using a piece of gray paper from my stash along with the journaling card that says Home Sweet Home and the coral paper. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll adhere the journaling card directly to my a card base, but first I take the coral paper and I just cut a strip out and place that across the front of the card, and then I will place the journaling card on top of that. I matted the journaling card on white cardstock, and so since the journaling card had rounded corners, my mat needed rounded corners, and so I got this corner rounder out of my hand punch stash. And when I was doing that, I found the Stampin' Up hand punch with these little tiny flags, and so I went ahead and grabbed that and used several of the flags on the side of the journaling card. And I thought the card was a little bit plain, so what I did was I took some liquid pearls and watered it down and kind of splashed it on the card, but it did not really show up, probably because the color was pretty light. It was a pearlescent white opal is the color that I used. And so after I had completed the card, and later I went back and I just added the liquid pearls along the sides of the pink paper kind of as a border, just to give it a little more character, I guess, because you can't really see the perfect pearls. So in the still shots of the card, you can see where I added those liquid pearls. So the next card, I go ahead and I use the coral paper again. It's really, really pretty coral color. I think it's coral. It's not a red, though I think it shows up a little bit like a red in the video. So I just go ahead and take that paper and cover my card base. And then I'm going to use the circle die that came in the kit. It actually goes into the embroidery hoop die, but I'm just using the circle portion. And so I cut out several circles out of white paper, and then I went ahead and took the butterfly die and put that in the center of the circle. And then I also used the circle die to cut out different pieces of pattern paper to go behind the white circle with the butterfly in it. So I go ahead and take my glue and attach the white pieces to the pattern paper. And I think originally I was going to do 3. I think originally I was going to do 3 and then ended up adding a 4th just to kind of even it out. And then I went ahead and took one of my edge dies and cut out 2 pieces of gold out of the gold paper and adhered that to the top of the card. And then I adhered my circles to the card. And here I'm just taking the butterflies and popping them up with the foam squares and placing those over the pattern. And this card I think probably would be good even without putting the butterflies in the negative space. I think it would look really pretty just to see the pattern paper. And then for the last butterfly I didn't insert, I kind of did it off to the side. And then I'm taking the ticket, one of the tickets from the kit that says Happy Day, and I am adhering a few of those gold leaves that I was going to use on the first card and I didn't end up using. And that will complete this card. And I also used some Wink of Stella on the butterfly wings. So for this card, this is the fastest card of the bunch. I used the remaining 3 big tickets and I cut out several pieces of the navy blue paper in different sizes. And then I'm also taking a few of the leaves that I was going to use for the first card, and I used that on this card also. So basically all I'm doing is taking the tickets and adhering them to the card. 1 on the side and then 2 more tickets to the right of that. And then I take the blue strips and place 1 across the top, 1 across the bottom, and then 1 across the left-hand side. And I really love the dark, the way the dark blue paper looks against the white background. I really like the contrast of that. Very pretty. And this kit for me was a little out of my comfort zone. Like, I'm usually not into dark colors like this. I prefer like more muted colors, but I actually think when they're offset against some lighter colors, it just really looks pretty. And so that will complete that card. So it says, live for the moment, awesome, and oh joy. And then for the next card, I was thinking about what I could possibly do with the 3 tags because the pattern paper for the most part is so bold and dark. I wasn't sure how to get these tags to go with it, so I didn't put it with any paper. I just used the tags straight on the card base, and so I'm just taking some twine here and putting it through the hole, and then I will end up trimming a little bit of that excess off. And then I take some foam squares and adhere those to the tags, and I'm trying to get it centered or even on the front of the card. And then I'll go ahead and cut those off, and then I'm using a little bit of the ephemera and a few of the small little tags, and basically I am just going to adhere those to the tags, and that's pretty much it. There's not a big sentiment or a sentiment sticker. It's more just what the tickets say. So one of the tickets says congrats and one says hey there, and then the pink one, it says best wishes. So I used the floral ephemera, and the one with the bird on it, the bird actually was black, but I ended up using the die that came in the kit and cutting a piece of using the bird die to cut out the birds, and so I did the dove in gold and then the bird in gold, and I just put that over the black bird. And then I used a few of the gems that came in the kit. And that will complete that card. I love these little tickets, they're so cute. So for the next card, I'm using the navy blue paper again, and I'm going to use the pattern paper that has the embroidery hoop on it, which is actually really beautiful pattern paper. It's got a gold trim around the embroidery hoop with these pretty patterns in the middle. And so I'm taking a small piece of that and I'm adhering it to a piece of white paper. So basically I'm just matting it on a piece of white paper, and I am using my double-sided adhesive that came in the kit. And then I'm going to take a piece of navy blue twine from my stash and wrap that around the piece of paper. And I just use the double-sided adhesive and don't take the paper piece off, just to get that adhered. But when I first saw this kit, when it first came out and Spellbinders showed it online, I was like not too sure about it, but it actually, working with it, it grew on me, and I just was able to create. I didn't think I was going to be able to make that many cards with it because I wasn't fond of the colors, but I actually really ended up loving all of the cards and loving the pattern paper and the dies that came in it. I actually really ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would. So there's this big butterfly in the ephemera kit, and I just go ahead and take my double-sided adhesive and put that into the center and kind of pop his wings up a little bit. And then I also take one of the wood embellishments, the happy wood embellishment, and I use that on the card. And the flowers from the first card that I was going to use on the first card, I finally found a way to use them, and so I end up using them on this card. So the flowers are just out of the ivory paper and the centers are out of the gold paper. And so I just attach several of those to the card. And then I take my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and put that on the back of the wood embellishment that says happy. And then I also take one of the words from the sticker sheet and place that at the bottom of the word happy. And it says happy moments. So that will complete, and I also added a few leaves around the side. So this pattern paper I actually really love. It's kind of a wood grain with some gold accents, and I'm taking the felt doily and I'm going to go ahead and cut that in. I end up cutting it in 3 pieces. So I cut the sides off, and I end up using the 2 sides for this card, and then I use the middle piece for another card. So one portion of the doily is going to go on the right hand side, and then the other will go on the bottom. So I take the lace journaling card with the yellow edges, and I go ahead and take some foam tape and pop that up. And so I just pop that up in the center of the card and then use my deluxe adhesive to adhere the felt doily. And then I think I just use this tool so much. This tool is just so handy for, you know, pushing down glue pieces to get them adhered. And I had no idea what this tool was. It was in my stash, and some very helpful viewers let me know what it is, and so I'm glad I know what its purpose is. But this is what I use it for. It's so helpful for this. So I went ahead and I took both of the blue flowers that came in the kit, and again I used my deluxe adhesive to adhere those to the journaling card. So I don't adhere the stems, I just go ahead and adhere the flower portion and they stay on fine. I go ahead and take that ephemera piece and put a foam square on each end and then just centered that over the flowers. And then I took some cinnamon stickles and put those as the centers of the flowers. And that will complete this card. And it says, if you want to be happy, just be you. This is probably my favorite card. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's, you know, fairly simple. Just a simple card. So this next card I am going to be using the embroidery hoop and the leftover piece of felt and then the black flower. And so that the flower adheres better, I'm just taking my wire cutters and cutting the stem from the back just to make sure that I can get it adhered to the card. And so I've taken a card base and a piece of the coral paper and I am adhering the felt, and then I adhered the embroidery hoop to the felt, and now I'm adhering the white flower with the black center into the middle of the embroidery hoop. And then I use the pick that says you rock, I believe. Yes, so it says you rock. And then I just use some other sentiments. I don't know that they really go with you rock, but I tried to make it work. I wanted it to say you totally rock, but there was no way I was going to fit that sentiment between those. And then I'm taking my white tonic crystal drops and putting those along the top and the bottom. And that completes that card. And I believe this is my last card. And so this one I wanted to make a shaker. So again, I'm using the embroidery hoop and the center circle. So originally I took the blue base and then I cut the hoop portion out of ivory, and then I just took a piece of packaging from the kit and used that as my shaker window, and I adhere that to the hoop. And then I changed my mind on the background and I wanted this pattern to be in the background, so I went ahead and I cut that out and then adhered the foam to my shaker card. And then I adhered probably 3 of the gold sequins with glue inside of my shaker, and then added the rest of the shaker pieces and then placed the 2 pieces together. And the foam tape I used isn't real thick, and so I just put 1 layer. I didn't want it to be real thick on the card. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of green pattern paper and adhere the embroidery hoop to the center of the card. And I also took a piece of the smallest ribbon that came in the kit and adhered that, or not adhered that, but attached that to the embroidery hoop, and I will adhere that to the back of the panel. And then I'll go ahead and adhere the whole panel to the card, or to the card base. And then I end up using the other wood embellishment, which says love. And then I ended up taking the bird, using the bird die, and cutting a piece using the ivory paper, which is the same color as the embroidery hoop. And I go ahead and attach that to the embroidery hoop. And then I added, let's see, crystal stickles around the outside of the embroidery hoop and adhered the love sentiment with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And that'll complete this card as well as the cards for the month of May. Again, the kit that I subscribe to is called Kitschy. Spellbinders has many different options as far as kits go for different budgets. They have everything from just the small die of the month to just the large die of the month to their biggest kit, which is the small die of the month, the large die of the month, and the card kit. I have left links for all of that below in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video and liked the cards and got some ideas. And if you liked this video or found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. If you are not a subscriber and would like to subscribe, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thanks so much for watching.